I wasn't expecting Transformers 1 to be as great as it is, guys. This movie is incredible, guys. What is up, guys and Transformers fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On the Braincat, and today I'm going to review the latest animated film that came out, and that film is Transformers 1. This movie is directed by Josh Cooley, who directed Toy Story 4, and this movie stars Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, Steve Buscemi, Jon Hamm, and Lawrence Fishburne. And of course, guys, this is going to be a non-spoiler review. I'm not going to spoil any elements from Transformers 1. This is definitely a safe review here. I'm just going to talk about my initial thoughts on the movie. Now, let's roll out and get onto this review. This movie is the untold story of Optimus Prime and Megatron, better known as Swarm enemies, but once were friends bonded like brothers who changed the fate of Cybertron forever. So, we got an animated Transformers movie out right now, and honestly, at first, with the concept of Transformers doing an animated film with just the Transformers, I was interested. Until the behind the scenes facts. Josh Cooley is directing this movie, who directed Toy Story 4, which is a movie I did like, so that's a plus here. But the casting, Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime and Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. At first, I'm just like, this is such a big miscasting here. Not to say that I want, like, Peter Cullen back or anything like that, but if I think of Optimus Prime and Megatron, I wouldn't think of those two actors. And the trailers of this movie are terrible. So, of course, I went into this movie with very low expectations. I was not excited for this film until the reviews for this movie. The early reviews saying that this is one of the best Transformers movies that we have gotten, and saying this is one of the best animated films of the year. So I decided, you know what? I watched an advanced screening of The Wild Robot, and in that same weekend, they're doing an advanced screening of Transformers 1 in IMAX, so why not check this movie out? Give this movie a chance. Go into this movie with an open mind, because this is coming from the guy that has grown up with Transformers. I remember loving the first Transformers movie as a kid. It's like one of my favorite movies as a kid. I've grown up with Transformers, you know, with the rest of the Michael Bay films. Despite how bad they were, I loved them as a kid. But of course, Bumblebee is the best Transformers film out of the live-action Transformers films that we've gotten. So like I said, this is coming from the guy that loves Transformers. So with those early reviews, I went to this film with an open mind, seeing it in IMAX, not expecting it to be what it is right now, because holy shit, guys. I walked out of this movie speechless. Freaking speechless. In a really good way, because I wasn't expecting Transformers 1 to be as great as it is, guys. This movie is incredible, guys. Okay, I'm going to say this. Two things that I'm going to say this, okay? One, this is absolutely, in my opinion, the best Transformers movie that we have gotten. Yes, I'm saying it, over Bumblebee and over the first movie. This is the best Transformers movie we got. You could agree with me, you could disagree with me. That's fine, but that's just my opinion. And speaking of opinions, the second opinion, I think this might be my favorite animated film this year. Yes, over The Wild Robot. And yes, you'll kill me for this, but also over Inside Out 2. I'm not joking, guys. This movie is that great, in my opinion. This movie absolutely blew me away from start to finish. Let's talk about the animation first, because holy shit. The world of this movie, the world of Cybertron, the way this movie looks. This is one of the most beautiful animations that I have seen this entire freaking year. The character designs, the landscapes, the backgrounds, it all looks fantastic. If you see this movie in IMAX, definitely see this movie in IMAX, or in the biggest screen possible, so you can see some attention to details. There are some really cool looking animation details in this film that absolutely blew my mind. This is some of the best animation of this year. Man, Lord of the Rings: The War of Rohirrim and Moana 2, you're in competition now. If you could top this movie, I think we have a great year for animation here. But what really surprised me about Transformers 1 the most is the voice casting. The voice casting in this movie, holy crap, they surprised the heck out of me, especially Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime and Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. Man, they are fantastic in this film. Chris Hemsworth does a brilliant job as Optimus Prime. I was not expecting Chris Hemsworth to be that great in this role. I'm not kidding. I was not expecting it. But man, he does a great job, and so does Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. And what is great about this film is the chemistry between Optimus Prime and Megatron, because that's what this movie is all about. And their chemistry in this movie is fantastic. You can really tell they are very long friends, like brothers in this film. And when they basically turn on each other, you don't want that to happen because you love them two together in this film. But also, the great thing about this movie is that you understand both of their motivations. You understand why Optimus Prime became the way he is. And you understand why Megatron became the way it is. It doesn't go in the way where you're like, oh, Optimus Prime, I root for you to defeat Megatron. No, there are times where I'm like, I agree with Megatron. And there are times where I agree with Optimus Prime. You understand both of their motivations in this film. And they both have pros, and they both have flaws. And that is what's great about this film. Their chemistry and their motivations. The best way to explain Transformers 1 is that this movie is X-Men First Class with Transformers. And the thing that those two movies have in common, you understand both of their two motivations. Just the way this movie was written of how Optimus Prime and Megatron became enemies is fantastic. You can tell they understand the source material and they're trying to explain it in the best way possible. But also the rest of the voice casting is great. Scarlett Johansson does a great job in this film. A big surprise though, Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee. I was not expecting him to be the funniest character in this film because honestly, from the trailers I'm like, this is going to be one of the most annoying characters of the year. And I love Keegan-Michael Key. But there are some films that he does where I'm like, I'm getting sick of this actor. But not after this film. He is so good as Bumblebee in this movie. He is hysterical in this movie. But both Scarlett Johansson and Keegan-Michael Key have a fantastic chemistry with Optimus Prime and Megatron in this film. You like them fall together on this adventure. And I gotta say also the action scenes of this film is fantastic. There are some great action scenes in this movie. There's literally one action scene that I'm not gonna spoil. I want to stand up and cheer. It is seriously an action scene that I'll absolutely remember in 2024. This movie is also hilarious. There are some great comedic moments in the film. Some moments where I'm like, I feel like they're making fun of the Transformers lore, but did it right. I think the humor of this movie is absolutely flawless. Every single joke I laughed at. But also, what's really surprising about this movie as well is that this movie takes on dark tones as well that I was not expecting. There are moments in this film where I'm like, oh crap. They're going in that. Wow, okay. So this film has some balls here, and I love that. It just shows just from the trailers, you should never judge a trailer by its cover. There could be great movies with really terrible trailers, and this movie is a bright example of that. Because seriously, from the trailers of Transformers 1, this movie just looks like a goofball from the trailers. It looks like one of those, oh yeah, we're gonna make this as funny as possible. No, this movie's not just funny. This movie has some great dramatic moments as well, and some tear-jerking moments as well. This movie is not just a movie that's just humorous, you know? This movie is trying to be a great written rivalry story that pays so much respect to the lore of the Transformers series. And absolutely this movie did the dramatic scenes very well. There are so many dark scenes as well where I'm like, damn, it's going in that direction. I just gotta appreciate the writers for that. This is just one of the best written Transformers movies that I've seen in a while. Like, this film does feel like a fan film. It felt like a Transformers fan film from people who understand the Transformers lore. It's not trying to be like Michael Bay, you know, it's just showing unnecessary characters, freaking explosions, and not showing much Transformers. This movie is Transformers the way we wanted it to be. The score and soundtrack of this movie is also incredible. There are some great pieces of score in this film and soundtrack where I'm like, that actually suits the film very, very well. I just couldn't pick a single flaw out of this movie, guys. This movie absolutely blew me away. This is a great friendship to rivalry story that happens to be a Transformers story, and it absolutely works. Overall, guys, Transformers 1 is not just the best Transformers movie that I have ever seen, but this is absolutely one of my favorite animated films of the year, and probably one of my favorite films of the year. This is a pretty good year, guys. There's so many movies in my mind where I'm like, this is my favorite movie of the year. This is my favorite movie of the year. Transformers 1 is definitely going to be high on my favorite movies list, that is for sure. This movie pays so much respect to the Transformers lore. Josh Cooley absolutely directed this movie well. Chris Hemsworth and Brian Tyree Henry absolutely crushed it as Optimus Prime and Megatron. You love their friendship, but you understand their motivations of how they became enemies and how Autobots and Decepticons came to be. The animation is top notch, the action scenes are great, this movie's hilarious, but also this movie has some really good emotional drama that I'm really surprised that it took that direction. I'm surprised that Transformers 1 is as great as it is. We were not expecting Transformers 1 to be that great. This is basically this year's Into the Spider-Verse, a movie that we did not expect to be as great as it is, but it is. Coming from the guy that adores Transformers, this is definitely my favorite Transformers film ever in this series. Overall, guys, go see Transformers 1 as soon as you can, because absolutely Transformers 1 is a masterpiece. So guys, that is my review for Transformers 1. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like the movie, hate the movie, or you thought it's okay? Just let me know in the comments below. And also, what is your favorite Transformers film in the franchise? Let me know that also in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and... Meow!